Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Mark Dickinson with Gulf Business Academy and really excited to bring you another interview with a great thought leader. Today I'm excited to present to you Joey Ghazal. Joey is a global restauranteur, millions of experiences behind him in opening restaurants, running restaurants, every kind of restaurant you can imagine, and a fantastic taste in food. And if you've been following me on the Academy, you probably saw my little piece about doing something good for yourself, where I was eating one of his pizzas, which is, for me, one of the greatest dishes on earth. Very simple and really beautiful. Joey, it's such a pleasure to have you. Thanks for coming on. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
So, Joey, tell us, what is your business today all about? What do you do?
Well, I'm a restaurant developer. I've been in the business for about 20 odd years. Been creating restaurants, restaurant concepts, and owning and managing my own concepts for about, I would say, 10 years. I started off right at the bottom as a busboy in a steakhouse back when I was 17 years old, and worked my way up. And found myself at one point as the director of concept development and marketing for a big Canadian restaurant group. Went out on my own, and here we are. I'm also I'm the founder and managing partner of the Maine New England Brasserie Company, which we have 3 locations at the moment, and a food truck, one in JBR, one in Studio City, and one that will hopefully open soon in Business Bay.
And I heard that you're going to expand internationally soon. Is that true?
We are. We have plans to expand internationally into London, actually. Working on those plans now. We'll see how things pan out. Brilliant.
And Joey, what was the spark that got you into hospitality? Why hospitality?
It was actually kind of a bit of an accidental love affair. I was never intending to get into the restaurant business. I remember my father tried to push me to go into hospitality, and I refused. I wanted to go into diplomacy. Not quite the same thing. Well, maybe parts of it, but I actually majored also in film and theater. So the restaurant business kind of had all of that. All of those disciplines that I was interested in from a very young age. The creation, the people part of it, the management, leadership, the marketing. It is very much like making a movie. It's very much like production. So, casting and set production and cinematography and all this kind of stuff. So for me, it had all the right creative outputs that I was looking for.
Amazing. And if you can think of a greatest moment from this fantastic experience, what would it be? What would be like a shining moment you say, that was what made it all worth it?
I mean, I always say, the restaurant business is very much like the movie business. You're only as good as your last picture. So it's always your last picture. So my last restaurant is always my most shining moment. So I would say probably the first one and the last one.
Joey, we're in a crisis, and it's not pretty. At the moment, most of your business is shut down. But this is not going to go on forever. There's going to be an end. What do you see as post-crisis? What's your vision for what happens after this?
We definitely are in unprecedented times. There's never been a world event in our lifetime quite like it. I think we have to remember that it is a moment in time, and it will pass. It is very disruptive, and it does call on, one to kind of really muster up all the positivity and all the leadership that he possibly can to survive such an event. But it is also a moment, to reflect and to pause. We do live a very hectic lifestyle, especially in the restaurant business. It is a moment to sit and think about, the did wells and maybe areas of improvement and to sort of charge forward. I think it's not ideal, but I am taking this time to really think about what the next moves are. sort of really charting kind of or architecting the direction of the company and my personal journey as well. So
Right.
for me, it really is about taking this, making the best out of this time to build let's say, a better, more sustainable future, and also to think about really what's important and kind of just get rid of all of that noise that's around us usually that we take for granted.
Amazing. And how will you go forward strategically? I mean, who will be the strategic thinking group? Is that something you retain, or do you have a group around you who are helping you and guiding you and contributing to the new strategy that you're going to come up with?
I mean, I don't work in isolation. I always surround myself with the best kind of people. I enjoy having sounding boards around me to bounce ideas off. If it was just me, I would go a little mental. It's important, to have people around you. You're only really as good as the people that you're surrounded by. But again, no matter who is around you, really, it's more the structure of the company, the DNA, I would say, of the company. That it doesn't depend really on any one person, but that it can kind of proceed without there being any kind of one person. It's important to have a visionary, or to have vision, I should say, moving forward. But you should be really ready for any kind of outcome. I think that's the key lesson here.
And those talented people that you've raised up, what's the plan for those people? Post-crisis, what's going to happen with these guys?
I mean, they're my core people. Always take care of your people. A lot of them have been with me since day one. We have an excellent retention in our company. I really think that they are very vested in the brand and in the growth of the brand. The Maine itself has legs. It has the potential to be an international brand. And I think that there is an opportunity. It's hard to see it right now, but there is an opportunity for the Maine to have multiple locations around the world. And I'm a big believer that the people that I'm surrounded by really are the ambassadors of the brand, and they will grow as the opportunities fall into my lap. I'll be honest with you, really from day one, I mean, I've thought of the Maine as really more of a lifestyle, and sort of I suppose the journey of that lifestyle, the growth of that lifestyle has to do with I suppose, really injecting that enthusiasm into your people so that they become your most sort of avid ambassadors, if you will. So that's really what I've been focused on, I would say, the last 4 years, is really building up a team of believers. I call them Mainers. And really getting them to a point where they have the right structure and systems around them to give scalability to what we've created.
Fantastic. Now, this whole change means that basically, you've got all your assets in place and the slate is wiped clean. You get to start again in a month or in a couple of months' time, whatever it'll be. Will that change your approach to business?
A little bit. Like I said, I mean, I think it's about focusing on what's important and really sort of removing all the noise. But we started the journey about a year ago, I would say. We I don't know if it was foresight, I don't know if it was instinct, but we made the decision about a year ago to move into a 100% sort of paperless company. We believed early on that the success of the group comes from really decentralizing the systems and processes and really kind of making it less top heavy and I would say giving the accountability, putting the accountability in the hands of all of your staff, where they could where they can really measure their own success, and that I as an owner can have kind of a top bird's eye view of how the business is running. So I mean, I have a couple of examples. We migrated all of our training online. It's an entirely online video-based training now. It's a system you may have heard of. And we made the decision also to change our entire financial and reporting system, where now it is fully integrated, and all of our manager and guest notes, our closing checklists, our inventory, our guest note, all of our petty cash, and let's say our sales is all integrated into one financial report. Essentially, it turns into kind of a daily and weekly P&L. We've also made the decision a while ago to put all of our opening and closing checklists. We have about 14,000 duties, let's say, across all departments within each restaurant. And what we did was we are working on a system where every single employee can essentially record his or her own duties as they do them. And we as managers or owners can basically verify that all the duties are done. I think it's a saying that you always say, Mark, what gets measured gets done. And
sure.
It's definitely something to live by. So we made the decision, I think, as we were expanding the group from just the Maine Oyster Bar and Grill and JBR to now the New England Brasserie Company. I knew early on that if I was going to scale up the company the way that I wanted to and sort of, I suppose, run with this lifestyle that I'm talking to you about, that we needed to invest heavily in technology, and we needed to think about how to incorporate technology into our lives to give us that kind of, I suppose, that scalability. I remember when I started in this business, for me, I was really only looking at the leaders in the industry, like Hard Rock Cafe, for example, and looking at their training manuals and the way that they train, and I thought that that's the way I needed to be. And it's really only a couple of years ago that I woke up to the reality that I can create my own way of training and my own way of my own systems and procedures. And so I'm very proud of what we've accomplished over the last year. It's really a gold standard in restaurant operations.
And do you see that as being a future opportunity for you as a restaurateur, being able to spread, let's say, your doctrine of how to manage restaurants? Would that be a game-changing move at the end of this?
I wouldn't say no. I mean, I like the idea of doing talks or writing a book or I haven't quite thought of myself as a consultant yet, I would say, but I would definitely, I think that we have definitely created something really unique. I would say we're about 6 months away from having a fully integrated system where all the platforms and technology talks to each other, and we can get even the most detailed information about our guests to be able to service them better, essentially. I wouldn't say no to the idea of transferring the knowledge, let's say the IP that we've developed over the last couple of years, and paying it forward and helping maybe young entrepreneurs learn how to manage their businesses. I mean, I think operations is always one of the hardest challenges in the business. Everybody wants to get into the restaurant business, but when it comes down to operations and how to run the business, people usually fall.
So can we put people in touch with you?
Sure. I mean, I guess I'm always happy to listen and to help and to mentor where I can.
Joey, here's a thought. What is going to be the difference in customer behavior post-crisis? How do you think customers are going to react differently from how they've been reacting before?
Well, as I said before, I think people are going to be a bit more mindful about what's important. I think average spend will be affected. I think people will be maybe less, in the short term at least, will be less frivolous with money. They'll be looking for more value-driven experiences. And that's why I'm confident that the Maine has an excellent positioning even in this kind of situation. We're a homegrown brand. We really take care of local suppliers, local fisheries, local farms. We have a lot of focus on kind of CSR, and we are a very value-driven business as a concept. As a brasserie, we're always offering excellent value to our guests. We're not, we're quite affordable. We're quite democratic in that sense. We're really a concept for everyone. And I believe that people will be just a bit more, I would say, a bit more careful about where they spend their money.
Great. And these millennials and Gen Z kids, the kids
Yes.
that grew up on the growth of the internet, and then the kids that have grown up always on the internet, and now these are your people, they're your workforce. What values that they used to have will no longer have any meaning?
Well, it's interesting because the millennials always get a bad rap because I guess they've never experienced a crisis quite like this one. Every generation has their own, whether it's I would say, I don't know, 9/11 or the Wall Street financial crash or the world wars. But this generation gets a bad rap for being too. They're not invested enough. They don't invest in property. They have no plans. They're too experiential. They're not focused enough on what previous generations, what our parents tell us to focus on. They don't save for a rainy day. A very famous expression that you hear from your parents growing up. So I think that this is definitely a wake-up call. I think on the one hand, millennials will wake up and realize that they do need to be a bit more responsible. They do need to have a little bit of structure to their lives. They can't be as experiential as they want to be. That there needs to be some sort of foundation or planning, I would say. But on the other hand, I think with technology allowing them to make money from home, through platforms like Zoom and other platforms that are being provided, I think also a different business or a different industry will be created where millennials will learn to, or entrepreneurs will learn to make money in other inventive ways. And I think that's really what's key. And I, as a business owner, will also, I think, continue to learn from these systems and use technology to help me change the way I manage my own business.
Sure. Okay, Joey, this crisis is going to end. What is going to be that moment of euphoria? What do you think is going to happen? Is it going to be an outbursting of joy? Is it going to be a very gradual thing? How do you think this thing's going to wrap up? What's going to be that moment? Is it going to be when a cure is found? What do you think? Just for a bit of fun here.
I think that it will be gradual. We will not immediately go back to the way things were, unfortunately. I don't believe that there will be a big headline in the newspapers, the war is over, as much as I would love for that to happen. I think when the media goes off it a little bit, that'll be when people will start to want to move on. Look, people, humans are humans, and they will always want to party, and they will always want to socialize, and they will always, restaurants will always be an integral part of their lives. I just think that it'll take a while for all that fear and all that panic and hysteria to subside after this. I know I'm going to throw the biggest party I've ever thrown when this is all over. But no, it is a major schism in people's in the security blanket that we create. It's a major I would say it's a point. It's definitely a point of divergence.
Brilliant. Well, Joey, I really appreciate you taking the time to get on with us, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, guys. This is.
I want to talk more.
Sorry?
I have all the time in the world. 2 more weeks. I even wore a jacket for you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. This is Gulf Business Academy, Mark Dickinson, and that was Joey Ghazal from the Maine. Thanks a lot.